Hey everyone, and welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are diving into something that, honestly, could be a total game changer for your mental well-being. It's called self-compassion, and it's all about shifting that inner dialogue from, your own worst enemy to your own best friend. So, yeah, let's jump right in.
All right, let me start by asking you a question. Just think about it for a second. When you mess up, or you stumble, or you just have one of those days where you feel like you're not good enough, what does that little voice in your head say? I'm guessing for a lot of us, it's not very nice, is it? It's more like a harsh critic, just pointing out every single flaw.
And the crazy part is we just kind of accept this voice as normal, right? In Kristin Neff's work, which is the foundation for this explainer, she actually calls this the madness of perfectionism. Think about it. We beat ourselves up, and in doing so, we're just piling on this extra layer of suffering that is completely 100% unnecessary. We mess up, and then we punish ourselves for messing up. It's a cycle. And you just know there has to be a better way.
And of course there is. That better way is a much kinder alternative. It's one that helps us get out of what's often called the self-esteem trap. And this is a really big deal. It's a fundamental shift in how we relate to ourselves, especially when, things don't go according to plan.
So what exactly is the difference here? Well, when you put them side by side, it becomes crystal clear. On one hand, you've got self-esteem. Now, self-esteem is often conditional. It's totally dependent on us succeeding, on being better than somebody else. It's this wild roller coaster, right? We feel amazing when we're on top and just awful when we're not. But then you look at self-compassion. It's unconditional. It's the stable, constant source of support. It's all about connection, not comparison. And the best part? It shows up for you precisely when you fail, which, let's be honest, is when you need it the most.
And at its core, the definition is just beautifully simple. Self-compassion is really just about responding to your own struggles with the exact same kindness and understanding you'd offer to a good friend. I mean, think about it. When your friend is having a hard time, you don't tear them down, do you? No! You offer them warmth and support, and you try to understand. The whole goal here is to just turn that same kindness inward. Okay, so this all sounds great in theory, but how do we actually do it? Like, what are the practical steps? Well, the great news is that self-compassion isn't some vague, fuzzy concept. It can be broken down into 3 core, really practical components. You can think of this next part as kind of like your user manual for being kinder to yourself. So here they are, the big 3: self-kindness, common humanity, and mindfulness. These are the 3 pillars that work together, and they create this really solid foundation for a more compassionate mindset. We're going to walk through each one so you can see exactly how they work. All right, first up, self-kindness. This one is the direct antidote to that nasty inner critic we were talking about. It's all about making an active choice, the choice to be gentle and understanding with yourself instead of cold and judgmental. It basically means that when you fail, your go-to response isn't criticism, it's comfort. And this simple phrase right here is a perfect example of what that sounds like. Instead of that automatic, ugh, how could you be so stupid? You shift to this. It's okay to make mistakes, we're all human. It might seem like a small change in wording, but it completely alters your emotional state. You're literally giving yourself permission to be imperfect. Okay, next up, we have common humanity. And this piece is so crucial. Why? Because when we mess up, it's so easy to feel completely alone in it. Like we're the only person on the planet who could possibly make this mistake. Common humanity is the cure for that feeling of isolation. It's that deep down recognition that, hey, being imperfect, failing, and struggling, that's just part of the shared human experience. And the self-talk that goes with this, it's just as simple and just as powerful. Just reminding yourself, everyone goes through tough times. That one little thought instantly connects you to everyone else instead of shutting you off. It completely reframes your failure. It's no longer some deep personal flaw. It's just a part of life. And that brings us to our third component, mindfulness. You can think of mindfulness as the great balancer here. It's all about taking a balanced approach to our negative thoughts and emotions. So the goal isn't to push the pain away or pretend it's not there, but it's also not about letting that pain completely take over and sweep you away. Mindfulness is what gives us the ability to just observe our feelings with a little bit of space, a little bit of clarity. So what does that actually look like in the heat of the moment? Well, it's about noticing what you're feeling without piling on all that extra judgment. So you might say to yourself, okay, I'm noticing a lot of sadness right now. And then you just stop. You don't add the, and that means I'm weak, or I'm overreacting. You just acknowledge the feeling for what it is.
It's an emotion that's passing through, not some final verdict on who you are as a person.
All right, so we've got our three components: self-kindness, common humanity, and mindfulness. Now let's see how they all come together in a real-world situation. Because this is where the theory stops being theory and starts being a truly practical tool for change. So let's meet Chike. Chike is a student, and he just bombed a big test. And his immediate automatic reaction? Pure self-criticism. He instantly feels like a total failure, and that inner critic is just going to town, telling him he's not smart enough, that he'll never succeed. But here's where it gets interesting. Instead of just letting himself spiral, Chike consciously decides to use this framework to shift his thinking. He hits the pause button. So for self-kindness, he tells himself, hey, it's okay, you'll learn from this. For common humanity, he reminds himself, you know what? Everyone struggles with this stuff sometimes. And then for mindfulness, he acknowledges the worry. He doesn't run from it. He just kind of looks at it and says, yep, there you are, without letting it totally consume him.
And the outcome of this simple shift, it's absolutely transformative. Because he's treating himself with some understanding instead of being so harsh, Cheeky's anxiety starts to go down. He's not wasting all that energy just beating himself up, and that frees him up to actually learn from what happened. His motivation comes back, and guess what? His performance actually improves. The key thing here is he didn't lower his standards, not at all. He just changed how he responded when he didn't meet them. And this really brings us to the big takeaway here. Self-compassion, it isn't just some fluffy, nice-to-have idea. It's an absolutely vital skill for building emotional resilience, especially in the crazy world we're all living in today.
So why does this matter more than ever? Well, think about it. We live in an age of non-stop social comparison, overwhelming stress, and massive burnout. In this kind of environment, having a supportive inner voice is basically a superpower. It's what builds the resilience that lets you bounce back from setbacks. It lowers anxiety, it deepens your connection with other people, and it gives you a sustainable source of self-worth that doesn't depend on likes or promotions or any other kind of external validation. And that's pretty much it for our explainer today. But I want to leave you with this one final thought to chew on. The next time you find yourself struggling, when that inner critic starts getting loud, just ask yourself this one simple question. Seriously, the answer might just change everything. Thanks so much for joining me.